Want to help support Jonose Cigars? Two great ways to do it: smokeagoandshop.com and on Patreon. So click those links in the description below and help support this great cigar channel. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. Joe with Jonose Cigars back for another review, and we are diving into a brand that I have not, I don't think, ever really featured on the channel before, at least not properly. I have done a few Nat Sherman, most notably the Epaca. Did that a long while ago in the early days of the channel. But Nat Sherman has really ceased to exist. It was bought out by a big tobacco company, Altria. Not a big fan of that because they went ahead and just shut down the Nat Sherman brand, getting rid of as much competition from the cigar world for their cigarettes. Was kind of a heartbreaking moment in cigar history, if you ask me. Well, Michael Herklotz, who was the VP of Nat Sherman back in the day, was responsible for some of the blends that Nat Sherman did, most notably the Timeless. And so now we are resurrecting the Timeless. This has been done by Ferio Tego. Ferio Tego is now the new owner of the Timeless brands, and this is the one we are smoking today. This is the Timeless Panamericana in Magnum. Now, the Magnum sounds like it's going to be a big, hefty cigar, but this is just a very moderate 6x50 straight Parejo Toro, featuring Nicaraguan and Costa Rican long fillers, a Nicaraguan binder, and an Ecuadorian-grown Sumatra seed wrapper, which, looking at it, is a near pristine-looking wrapper leaf. You've got some noticeable veins, but very, very tight seams. Beautiful, even coloring. Almost looks like almost like a shade-grown wrapper. But pretty good-looking roll and pack. Little bit of pressing on the end. Pre-light aromas. We are getting, wow, a little bit of funky earth, some dried apricot, kind of like some funky cheese coming off of the body, off of the foot, vanilla wafers, little bits of cedar, more dried apricot. All right. Well, I had the pleasure of interviewing Michael Herklotz at PCA back in 2023. Really cool dude. Was a lot of fun to talk to, and I'm really glad that Ferio Tego has taken up the helm of some of these blends because I think they were just too good to be eliminated through a sellout. All right, I'm going to check the internal humidity on this cigar. If I can find my humidimeter. Here we go. These have been dry boxing, and we are looking at 62. Perfect. Right where I want it to be. A big shout out once again to Tony Larenko. This was in the latest mail bomb that he sent my way, and I was really excited to see so much by Ferio Tego. All right, let's go ahead and get this one cut. Check out the cold draw. Cold draw had a nice feeling resistance, getting notes of iced tea, cedar, and dry almonds. Let's start toasting, see what we can find out. All right, off the first few puffs, really good smoke output, very nice draw. A touch of firmness to the draw, but it is well within the realm of what I find acceptable, not overly snug or tight in any way. Really nice, a little bit south of medium body at this point, really sort of a jammy smoke texture, which has got a really nice mouthfeel. Flavors, immediately we start getting some apricot preserve, some puff pastry, some lightly toasted almond as well. Little bits of agave syrup coming through on the draw, really making a nice flavor profile early on the cigar. The retrohale carries just a touch of some white pepper spice with some sweet cedar and lots of very sweet stone fruits coming through, getting quite a few very enjoyable flavor notes early on in this cigar. I'll let this go until we get a little further into the first third. I'll see you then. 10 minutes in, well into the first third. Very good looking burn line, a little bit of a slant to it, but a nice looking white ash. Smoke output is still very good. Draw and smoke texture are basically the same as I was getting in that first segment. Flavors, really starting to get a nice lemon meringue sort of flavor, and something that very much reminds me of Honey Nut Cheerios. This is a very elegant tasting cigar. Lots of delicate nuances, but a really good balance on the flavor, on the draw. Retrohale, we are getting a good amount of roasted almond, little bits of subtle cedar, and a light touch of florals. Really am enjoying this one quite a bit. We'll let this go until I get about halfway through the cigar. I'll see you then. 30 minutes in, about halfway through the cigar, ash just falls for the second time. Really good draw and smoke output. Smoke texture has basically been completely unchanged. Still got a light jamminess, although it's kind of reeled back a little bit on that jammy texture, but all in all, very pleasant mouthfeel with that smoke texture. Flavors, we're starting to get a powdered donut sweetness, a more pronounced almond sweetness, we're getting some more florals, and we're also getting something that very much reminds me of a light cinnamon roll with a little bit of white glaze on the top. Very enjoyable cigar. Retrohale brings out a beautiful powdered sugar, cinnamon, and a little bit of breadiness, really reminding me of cinnamon rolls on the Retrohale. Very enjoyable, very refined, very elegant experience. Absolutely love the way this one is performing. I'll let you know my final thoughts as we get towards the end of the cigar. I'll see you then. Hour and 10 minutes into the final third here. Have only ashed the cigar twice. Ash integrity and construction have been very good. Draw, smoke output, smoke texture have all been exemplary. Very enjoyable smoke texture. Never quite making the medium bodied mark. Always just a little bit south of medium, but not what I would call a mild cigar either. Lots of really interesting flavors throughout from start to finish. Really good notes of really rich roasted pecan, cashew, and pistachio now on the back third. Got a little bit of charred cedar, little bits of honeysuckle florals, and little bits of baking spice, primarily cardamom, cinnamon, and a touch of allspice. Retrohale is very delicate, light touches of white pepper, cinnamon, and cardamom with some very, very fragrant florals on that Retrohale as well. A very enjoyable cigar, one that I'll definitely reach for again. Ferio Tego has never let me down ever since I have discovered Ferio Tego, and most especially after discovering that they have reclaimed some of those blends from Nat Sherman. I have just been a big admirer of the brand and a big admirer of Michael Herklotz's work ethic. Really enjoyed this one. Thank you again to Tony Larenko, and thank you so much for tuning in for this review. As always, don't forget to subscribe. Click that icon bottom right corner of the screen if you haven't done so already. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment below. And please hit that bell notification icon so you get notifications every time a new video is released from Jonose Cigars. If you didn't like something, by all means, give me a thumbs down, but let me know in the comments below what you didn't like so I know what you're talking about moving forward. See you all in the next review. Till then, smoke a good one.